Does music matter in a video game? Most people rarely praise the soundtrack and music of a video game. They talk about the graphics, story, combat, puzzles, platforming, but they forget to mention the soundtrack of a game. So I found myself asking, does music really matter in a video game? Before we begin, I just want to say that this is purely my opinion, and if you disagree with anything I said, you can write your thoughts at the comment section. I want you to think about the type of music content you're listening to. It brings you joy, happiness, hype, sometimes sadness, and expresses your personality. Music plays an important role in our lives, as we are constantly hearing it in our home, concerts, stores, and social media. So why do we tend to forget it in video games? There are three answers to this question. First answer is that the soundtrack of a game isn't memorable enough because it is just bad or not our type. Second answer is that the soundtrack of a game is totally absent and plays in a lower volume. And the third answer is that the game's soundtrack is in a different language so we can understand what it actually says and means. I'm going to be talking about the action-adventure genre, specifically the God of War series, and how music can really make a game shine and elevate it to its maximum potential. God of War has always had you fighting huge and terrifying bosses from the beginning of the game. To make things even better to the player, the game was constantly playing beautiful soundtracks in the background with loud musical instruments and with amazing vocal chords. That was making the experience of the game 10 times better, and for some reason modern gaming studios swift against the music department and focus more on their world and graphics to make them look more realistic, beautiful, and open. They often forget that their beautiful open world and characters are relatively nothing without an amazing soundtrack and tone behind them. I do believe that if you mix beautiful graphics, set pieces, and the incredible scale of the game that you're making and combine it with some wonderful music, the game will stand out much more than the other ones. A good soundtrack can create a perfect atmosphere within the game. It can play out at action scenes, depressing moments, confusing puzzles, the death of a character, the rise of a villain, the beginning of a boss fight. I can go on and on. The point is that the soundtrack makes a game more memorable and more fun at the same time. To the people who dislike a soundtrack purely because it's in a different language, they're probably lost in their life, as it does not matter all that much what it says and means, because it's not the main goal. The main goal is to make you, the player, to feel excited, shocked, or emotional about the scene, and to me, it achieves that most of the time on my first playthrough. When the game is over, you can discover it yourself what the lyrics mean at Google. To sum it all up, modern gaming companies put more emphasis on their technical achievements and sometimes completely disregard the soundtrack of their video game, making those beautiful environments and characters that they've been working on feel a bit plain at the cost of realism and the length of the game.